I teach theology at Loyola Marymount University. I teach theology at Loyola Marymount University, and I'm on the advisory board for ChristianMingle.
Awesome.
Levels are good.
Okay.
Shot's good.
Okay, Brett, what are some important questions someone should ask as they move towards or in the middle of an engagement?
It's really interesting to me when the way that people's sense of marriage changes before and after. I mean, I've only been married a year, but I was older when I got married, and I think one of the things that the advantages that affords you is you realize some things about marriage that it's harder to see when you're young. I think when it's harder to, when you're young and the hormones are going strong, it's really a lot of focus is on chemistry and the attractiveness of the person you're dating, and people are always looking into that, always thinking about it, always talking about it, looking at the pictures on dating websites, and I want to tell people this, of course, attraction is important, and you don't want to be married to someone you're not attracted to, but this is really not what's going to sustain you for the long term. And I think that, I think particularly for marriage today, what's really, really important is companionship. That, that it's someone that you can really talk to and be with and be friends with over the long haul. Because otherwise things are going to, when things get difficult, or you begin to look at somebody else that you think is attractive, or many other people that you think are attractive, it'll be very easy to lose focus on what you're doing and why. And marriage is about companionship for the long term, about forming families, about empowering one another for your Christian journey and for your life of faith. And it's really hard to do that if your attention is always attracted somewhere else, which it very easily will be. But if you know that this is the case, then it's easier to say, okay, my attention got attracted, but let me keep focused on what I'm about and who I'm with. I think this is probably more of a problem for men than for women, but I don't think it's exclusively a problem with men. This kind of wandering of our attention, thinking there's something better over the horizon, over the next hill, that I'll find somebody better. I think this is a big temptation when you're married. And it's easier if you know before you're married that this is going to be part of the change in perspective. Instead of trying to find that one perfect person, which is sometimes what makes it difficult when we try to get married, that we're waiting for somebody that's perfect, when the good person that we can walk with as companions is right in front of us.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Just getting a little... do you have your cell phone with you?
I do.
Is it on by any chance?
Yes.
Could you turn it off?
Of course.
Just getting a little sort of...
I just need to check really quick.
Okay.
My wife was in the hospital yesterday, so
Oh,
I'm
so
kind
sorry.
of...
Maybe you want to just put it outside. You don't have to necessarily...
yeah, maybe can I just put it over here? Or is that too close?
I don't know.
I could turn it off. It's okay. I just wanted to check before I did about if there's anything from her. She's fine.
Of course.
She's at work, so...
We'll just be a few more minutes. That was a great answer. Thank
I don't know if I can say that again.
you. No, we got it.
Yeah.
If you think you can get
Do you want me
those
to-
out. Okay.
Yeah, it was just... It's sort of... It's just like a zzz, zzz, it comes...
Oh, okay.
Maybe we should do it again then.
I'm not hearing it now, so maybe we should just try it again.
Uh-huh.
Just see...
I might say it better the second time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was really great. So Brett, again,
Uh-huh.
what important questions should someone be asking as they move toward or in the middle of an engagement?
I think, and there's actually been some research on this that's shown that the kind of story about marriage that we think about before we get married and after we get married are different. And there's a sociologist named Ann Swidler who talks about this. But before we're married, we're thinking so much often about attractiveness and physical characteristics and does this person kind of excite my hormones? And of course, you want to be married to someone you're attracted to. But for the long term, those questions become much less important in marriage. Not that you're not concerned about whether you're attracted, but attraction can be very, it can come and go over time. And you really want to think about companionship in getting married. Is this someone that I can really share life with over the long term? Is this someone who makes me laugh, who I will be willing to listen to and talk to for a very long period of time? Because people are married for a very long period of time today. And you want to feel that sense of support and of a mutual journey, particularly a mutual faith journey. People have variations sometimes with their partner, their wife, their husband, in terms of their Christian walk. But at the same time, if you can't support one another in faith, then it becomes very difficult. And I think that's an essential part of companionship. That was different, but...
Yeah, both were really good. Both are excellent. Another question. Should I consider what my family or friends think of my potential mate?
I think there's this very important question about the relationship between the feedback of our friends and family and the people that we date or are interested in. And it's not there's no simple answer to it, I think, in terms of how much influence should our family or friends have. I really think that, of course, our family and our friends have our own best interests at heart, from their perspective, though. And it's very important, I think, to ask in a relationship, is what I'm looking for in my husband, my wife, the same thing that my parents would be looking for me? And there's a lot of generational differences in how people conceive of marriage, too. We have much more of an expectation today that marriage be about friendship and companionship and be about people that share with one another. But I think in many people's parents' or grandparents' generation, there was not much expectation that men and women would be friends. And so the idea of what marriage is was quite different. Had more to do with forming families and the merging of two families. All that is still important, but there's this other friendship element, which I think sometimes intergenerationally is not well understood. But I also think that sometimes we're blind in love, and that can be a good thing. It can kind of make somebody beautiful that wouldn't be beautiful to other people, and I think that's marvelous. But at the same time, it can also blind us to the difficult characteristics of the person that we're seeing, or the dysfunctional elements of their family background, or the ways in which they may not have my best interest at heart. And so I think we need to listen to our families and friends. We have to, but that doesn't mean we always do what they say.
That's great. And then the final one, what excites you about the all-new Christian Mingle?
Well, I'm really excited about the kind of new layout of Christian Mingle. I mean, it's a much more user-friendly experience. It's exciting. It's colorful. It's got a lot it's just easier to navigate. But I'm also excited about the possibilities of the new mobile platforms in terms of cross-paths, and it seems like there's a way for Christian Mingle to reach almost everyone now, and to give alternatives when people are searching for a mate, when they're looking around. And there's of course all the different brands of dating websites and dating applications, but to have something where they know they can trust the people that are behind it, that they're in a sense vouching for the other person. There's no sure thing. There's always going to be struggles in dating. You may end up with somebody who's not quite as the person that they pretend to be on the website. That happens in any dating website, but at least you have a better fighting chance for it.
That's great. Thank you.
Sure. I'm a professor. I talk for a living.
Do is introduce themselves,
Okay.
and then I'll ask the question.